Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, recording this on the Wednesday morning, new comic book day. Just to fill you in on all the goings on in the store, all the new stuff in, pull lists, variants, comic news, all the above really. So yeah, just kicking things off, we're obviously talking about Wednesday the 10th of August this week. So tons of great stuff coming in. Just one or two bits of one or two things just to tell you about the store. The reason the angle is slightly tilted here on this camera as opposed to normal where it's in the middle, yes it does feel weird sitting to the side, is because we are going to be doing a massive omnibus sale for the next few weeks. So we're going to run this for the rest of August. So you will see this beautiful omnibus section just behind me here. We have repriced the whole pile of them, and as I said, it's a big blowout sale, so to speak. So omnibuses that have an RRP of 110 or maybe priced at £80. Omnis that are priced at £90 maybe have an RRP at £90. We've done maybe at around 60, 65 thereabouts. So I've always said Omnis are a great way of reading great long storylines, not having to track down single issues, individual volumes of graphics, that kind of thing. So there's plenty of great stuff there. The absolutes have been marked down as well. Some of the image omnibuses and hardcovers. So there's plenty there. Now it will be very much a first come first serve sort of thing. A lot of these omnibuses we only have maybe one copy of, two copies of. We don't want to be doing any holding with I'll be in 2 weeks sort of thing. It's very much an in-store promotion, so first come first serve on that. So get down quickly if you want to have the best choice of all of the Omnis up there. So outside of that, it's been a good busy week. Obviously I've had Chris filling in for me on Thursdays, also last week on Friday. That might continue for a little while, just obviously with fatherhood being so new to me. I want to spend as much time as possible with the little man as I can. Want to be there for him growing up. So I will be guaranteed to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Saturday. Sometimes I'll be here on a Friday if Chris can't cover, but by and large he's been good enough to step in, and he's doing great. The store's busy any day he's in, making good sales. So feel free to ask him anything you would ask me. I'm sure he will pass the message on. So but yeah, just in case you're coming here specifically to see me for whatever reason, Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesdays and Saturdays are my guaranteed days here. Outside of that, we'll see how it goes. So but yeah, everything's good. I mean, I packed out a little bit more in the Marvel section. I got a new Daredevil run in. We got the complete run of the Charles Soule Daredevil run in. I've put a few new issues out here and there, topped up Star Wars a wee bit, because it just always needs topped up. So yeah, the store's well packed. It's looking good, and yeah, that leads us nicely on to this week. So I'll start with one or two wee small bits of comic news here. There wasn't tons that caught my eye this week, but there were a couple of things that I thought were definitely worth talking about. So the first one was there was a great comic book came out around 2 years ago called Bang. It was released by Dark Horse Comics. It was written by Matt Kindt, and the artist on it was Wilfredo Torres. Well, it would appear that like nearly every good comic book in the world, it's now getting a film adaptation. So it's going to be directed by Bullet Train director David Leitch, and it is, that he's directed Deadpool 2, some Fast and Furious stuff, Atomic Blonde. Yeah, I look forward to it. Bang follows a spy sent out on a mission to stop an apocalyptic cult from brainwashing the masses with a collection of novels. So yeah, it looks like Idris Elba has been cast as star in that. So he's finally getting a spy movie. Hey, it may not be James Bond, but he's getting a spy movie. But there was a couple of things comic-wise that definitely caught my eye this week. So the first one was there's a new upcoming special for Marvel Comics called Thanos Death Notes #1. So with this, the reason it is noteworthy is because J. Michael Straczynski is returning to Thor. Now, J. Michael Straczynski, he pretty much revived the Thor comics line, along with Olivier Coipel. He did a run back in the mid-2000s that really just reinvigorated the God of Thunder. And now with this one shot, he's going to be part of a murderer's row of talent there. You've got Torun Grumbeck writing in this as well, Kyle Starks, Christopher Camwell, a few different artists, Ron Lim, for example. So it's going to be a one-shot that's coming out in November, so I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that in the next previews book. But at the same time, Straczynski coming back to Thor, I think that's really, really big, even if it is just a one-shot. But hey, it may lead to more beyond that. With regards to previews, I should say Keith and I will be recording the previous podcast for this month tomorrow. Hopefully have that out by Friday this week. So that'll be for the pre-orders for October titles. I've already done the DC Marvel board in store. I'll be doing the indie board today. So we'll have those in store. So for a look at the previous books are there, of course. But yeah, the podcast we do hope to record tomorrow night and put out on the Friday. Another one that I'm interested to see where this goes, because sometimes these things get announced and then they don't arrive in the UK, it's US only. But I'd spoken before about Frank Miller setting up his own comic line and publishing company, and it's called Frank Miller Presents. So apparently for next week, August 17th, we will receive what is called a surprise drop of an Ashcan preview for this upcoming publishing label. So the 32-page Ashcan comic book features 2 stories, Frank Miller's Ronin Book 2 and Ancient Enemies as well. Now, it says it will have a suggested retail price of $1 to readers and collectors, but will be sent to comic book retailers as an introduction to the new publishers. So it does say it will not initially be available digitally, so it does look like this is the kind of thing that is going to be in print only. But again, we don't see the invoice until Friday. So until I see, surprise title or that kind of thing on the invoice, I just don't know. So we'll keep an eye out, and if it is definitely coming, keep an eye on the social media channels, and I'll let you guys know. And then the last one is definitely that Marvel has announced a Planet Hulk sequel. So it is called Planet Hulk Worldbreaker. So it's going to be a 5-issue limited series, which is going to follow the original Planet Hulk writer Greg Pak to revisit what many consider to be one of the greatest Hulk stories of all time. So yeah, this is a full sequel. I mean, I remember with with Planet Hulk, you had John Romita Jr. involved with that. By the look of it, it's going to be Carlos Pagulan on covers, and the artist on this is, if I can find it here, he is going to be joined by Devil's Reign artist Manuel Garcia as well. So the event, it's going to take place 1,000 years after the events of the original story, returning to the mythology of the planet Sakaar, where Hulk had been exiled by the Illuminati. So definitely worth keeping an eye out for that. It's always nice when they decide to do sequels to these acclaimed runs. Some fare better than others, it has to be said. Civil War 2, I'm looking at you. But yeah, I think that's one to definitely be excited about, that you've got the original creator involved with Greg Pak on writing duty. So yeah, definitely one to look forward to there. So that's news side of things. Let's move on to the comics. So I'm going to take you through some of the variants that arrived in this week. It's a very heavily leaned variant week for one particular title. And that particular title is Predator, has finally arrived through Marvel Comics. So we've got a rake of the variants in, as well as the cover, of course. This one is Lee and Hugh, so very classic cover for that one. Move away from Predator just as I say that. We have, moving away a little bit, because the thing is, they've been doing a rake of these versus Predator covers for the last month as well. So for this one, it's a one-shot, Miss Marvel and Wolverine, and you've got this great Humberto Ramos versus Predator cover, so another variant there. We go back on to Predator with a Ron Lim variant cover, very classic. This just reminds me of the Arnie movie, Inside and Out. Next up, we have Predator. This one is from Raza. This is one of my favorites. I just love the night vision effect of it, the hunter effect of it, and yeah, just pure chaos in that. We have in stock this week, should have been out last week, but in stock this week, Batman White Knight presents Red Hood. So this is like a little offshoot of the current Beyond the White Knight storyline that's going on. So Olivier Coipel on covers for that. We have the last issue of Venom Lethal Protector this week, and John Boy Myers is doing a rather class variant for that. Pardon me. Another big title this week is the return of Deceased. This is the third main title. So you had Deceased, Dead Planet, and then this. You've got a couple of other sort of tie-in books, but this was always considered a trilogy. So Deceased, Dead Planet, and Deceased War of the Undead Gods. And this one's an acetate cover that opens up. I believe there's going to be an acetate one for each issue, and it's going to focus on different superhero each time. So Batman, of course, leads the way with this one, and then Cal Gu is the artist for the artwork underneath. This one is a mystery. This is also Deceased War of the Undead Gods. This is what's called, it's a polybagged cover, or in this case, a body bag cover. I think this might be a Matina cover underneath. I'm not sure. I haven't opened any of them to find out, but if you have an urge to solve a mystery, there we go. Next up is the next Harley Quinn variant, number 19. So once again, this is Ryan Sook, who of course did the one I showed last week, which was Harley Quinn 18, which was the homage cover to Batman number 1. So with this one, it's an homage to the first appearance of Robin, except in this case, Harley Quinn. Next up, there's a new title from Tom King this week through Image Comics, which is Love Everlasting, and we have the glorious Clayman variants in stock, because of course we do, because Clay's awesome. So brand new number 1 there. We have a ratio 1:10 variant for Amazing Spider-Man, a design variant done by Patrick Gleason for the Spider-Man Oscorp suit. So again, a little bit more expensive, that one being a ratio cover. And then we finish off with one last versus Predator cover. And again, I think this is one of my favourite ones they've done so far, and this is the Amazing Spider-Man one. Spidey at the bottom there, Spider-Sense going mad, of course. So that is variants for this week. So we'll move on from variants and move on to my pull list. So moving on to my pull list this week, a good mix of stuff as ever. I think it's a more indie, heavily leaned week for me, but we'll kick things off with a brand new 007 title. This is from Phil Kennedy Johnson, so it has my attention straight away just because of the creative team involved. Love the cover as well. I mean, to me, James Bond is a natural fit for comics. You know, do 5-issue miniseries. Each one is a different adventure featuring Bond. You can use all these glamorous locations, spy, noir, what's not to love. Next up is the next issue of A Town Called Terror, Steve Niles, Simon Kudransky. This has been a great horror title. Of course, Steve Niles, creator of 30 Days of Night. Speaking of great titles, 8 Billion Genies is superb. This is Charles Soule and Ram Brown. If you're late to the party on this one, keep an eye out for the trade because it's absolutely brilliant. It's essentially about 8 billion genies appearing on Earth and every single person gets one wish. So how would you use that wish? But can other people counteract what you do? Or it's absolutely brilliant. Really good sense of humor to it as well. I mentioned it quickly there just with regards to the variants, but Love Everlasting is a new Image title this week. This is Tom King making his Image Comics debut with Elsa Charretier on art. And this is, I think it's described as a love story meets Looper. So people love using Looper as a segue. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I love the artist, you know, first and foremost, and you know, I'm always happy to indulge in a bit of Tom King. Next up is Mindset from Zach Kaplan and John Pearson. Thought the first issue of this from Vault Comics was absolutely brilliant. So we're moving on now to issue 2. We also have Prodigy, the Icarus Society. So this is issue 2 of the Mark Millar follow-up to Prodigy, which is basically all about the world's most brilliant man, smartest man, most physically able man, you know, great detective. He's just the world's smartest man, but has he met his match in this? Next up is Sacrament. This is a new AWA story. This is Peter Milligan and Marcelo Frusin. This looks to be some nice dark occult horror type stuff going on. We have issue 2 of Starhenge, of course, Liam Sharp's creator-owned title. And the first issue of this, I mean, the artwork was superb. I thought the writing was a little bit up and down, but I'll always stick with something for 2-3 issues. And again, the art is glorious. A new one from Aftershock called The Vineyard. I know next to nothing about this other than it's a brand new number 1. And I'm expecting horror. Brian Hawkins on writing and Sammy Cavella on art. Does anybody draw Norman Osborn like John Romita Jr.? I don't think so. Amazing Spidey number 7 here, so Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr. We have the next issue of Captain America. This is Sentinel of Liberty, so this is one focused on Steve Rogers from Kelly Ann Lansing. So we're up to issue 3 of that. We have a one-shot this week for Ghost Rider. This is Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever. This is actually a variant for it, which is from the Kuberts, Adam and Joe. So that is, again, that's just a one-shot. The one Predator cover I didn't show off there was the glorious Scotty Young variant cover. Yeah, just look at that, it's so nice. So Predator, looking forward to Predator. We've been waiting a long time for it, you know, it kept getting moved. It fell under some sort of rights issues with Disney, with 20th Century Fox, and all these different things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done. You know, to give you an indication of how long it got delayed, it was supposed to come out around the same time as Alien, and Aliens has already had a full 12-issue volume plus an annual, and it's getting ready to relaunch its second volume. It's been a while. Next up we have Punisher, so Punisher at number 5, so Jason Aaron, Jesus Says, and Paul Azuceta continuing their great stuff on there. We have a new issue of Batman Beyond Neo Year this week. I always go for the variants of this, which is Christian Ward has been doing a full set of them, but great title that on Batman Beyond. I just showed it off there, but I'm just a real sucker for these homage variants. Lovely cardstock. They're so nicely done as well with like the distressed edges, making it look like an old issue and stuff. I showed off the variant. Here's the cover A for Batman White Knight Presents Red Hood. So again, a little spin-off series from the main narrative. We have Deceased back this week, so War of the Undead Gods. This is going to be an 8-issue miniseries in total. So it's original creators Tom Taylor and Trevor Harrison on that. We have Jurassic League number 4. Look at that German suplex being done on the front. God, I love Daniel Warren Johnson. But yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson's more in writing and doing covers than Antoine Gideon on art. And then finally, we have a new issue this week of Superman Son of Kal-El, continuing with the Tom Taylor loving, but Cian Tormey on for art on that one. So that is my pull list this week. We'll just focus now and finish off on what's new into the store. So new into the store this week, loads of good stuff, some great hardcovers especially, some nice top-ups for some popular franchises and popular books. Just ones that we want to make sure we've got in stock at all time. We kick that off with Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy is 3 books deep. You have a fourth one as well, which is You Look Like Death, Tales from the Umbrella Academy. But these are the main books. This was volume 3, which is Hotel Oblivion. We have back in stock as well as volume 1, which is Apocalypse Suite. And then volume 2, which is Dallas. So yeah, Jared Way, Gabriel Ba on art, just fantastic stuff. Really popular, really exploded in the last couple of years with the adaptation of the TV show as well. As well as getting those in, I got these. These are the compositional notebooks for Umbrella Academy, so based on the designs from the comic in the show. So this is not a comic book, I have to say. You can write your own comic book in this, but it is just a notebook, but just an exceptionally cool branded one. Next up, we have Deathstroke Inc. Volume 1. So this was the Joshua Williamson launched title. Hard Porter on art predominantly for this. So this collects issues 1 to 7 of Deathstroke Inc., as well as some stories from Batman Urban Legends number 6 as well. So lovely hardcover for that. And I mean, it's a lovely hardcover, and I like Deathstroke, but why did Supergirl not get a hardcover and Deathstroke did? Answers on postcard, please. Next up, we have this glorious one I've been waiting on. This is definitely one going into my collection, which is Pulp, the Process Edition. So Pulp was an absolutely amazing original graphic novel from the always brilliant team of Brubaker and Phillips. Turn of the century stuff, part cowboy tale, part Prohibition America tale, post-war. It's just an amazing book. But this Process Edition is basically about twice the thickness. It's going to go into all of the process work, all of the art, work in progress, how the script gets brought together, how it gets translated script to page, commentary. It has all kinds of stuff. I'm really looking forward to tucking into that. So we've got here original notebook entries to the initial script, breakdowns and pencils, all the way to the final edited and polished book itself, presented in full colour. See what the book started out as, what changed the final version before print, and go deep into Brubaker and Phillips' process. So, and again, it does contain the full graphic novel as well. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Same with this one as well. This is Echolands. So this is being held correctly, I promise. It's not this way, it's this way. This is a book this is one of the most cinematic books I've ever read. I read this in single issues. It's by J.H. Williams III, one of the most talented and unique and detailed artists out there. But they released it in this way where it was almost like a widescreen effect. That's what I mean by cinematic. And it's just brilliant. It goes into all kind of different mythologies. It goes into different time periods. It goes into magic. It goes into steampunk. It goes into all kinds of stuff. Combines fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other genres. Absolutely brilliant book again. Highly recommended, and a lovely edition there as well. We got back in stock a couple of Spawn compendiums. So if you're looking to get into Spawn from the beginning, these are the way to do it. You get 50 issues at a time in these. So this is volume 2. And then we also have compendium volume 1. So again, first 50 issues there. Again, you want to get into Spawn, this is the way to do it. Works out roughly about £1 an issue. Volume 3 was due out this week as well, but I did not have my copies sent. Next up, I think I may have mentioned this one last week, but it sold out really quickly and we got it straight back in. So Superman versus Lobo, so the team of Tim Seeley, Sarah Beatty and Mirka Andolfo. So a lovely black label title here. 3-issue mini-series, of course, in that Premium Plus format. Back in stock because it just keeps going out of stock. We have The Boys Volume 1. Obviously, everybody is jumping on The Boys because of the ridiculously great TV show. And again, we've got all 6 volumes in stock. We've restocked all the way. This collects The Boys 1 to 14, includes the story's name of the game, Get Some, Cherry, and Glorious 5-year plan as well. So these editions really are the best way to read The Boys. And they always come with some bonus material. So in this case, intro, an extra 4-page story, one of the scripts, some concept art, all kinds of stuff in there. I mentioned Supergirl because we've got it back in stock because it's quite simply one of the best books of the last couple of years. Tom Keane, Bill Quay-Evely on this, and Matis Lopez on colours. And again, it's a lovely, trade paperback softcover, but I can't help but think this should be a lovely hardcover. Maybe down the line, we shall see. Next up from Dark Horse, I believe this is another Comixology original that has come out. This is called Cold Bodies. So this is written by Magdalena Visaggio, art by Andrea Muti, who of course did the art in Maniac of New York, Parasomnia. Always seems to focus on the horror type stuff. So I do love that tagline. Sounds like a bad 80s horror movie. Hell, just frozen. Next up is Cloaked from Mike Richardson and Jordi Armignol. 25 years ago, a genuine mass hero came out of nowhere to declare war on crime. All of America celebrated the exploits of the black-clad vigilante, and then he disappeared. But when down on his luck, investigator Jake Stevens is hired to find the long-missing Avenger. His inquiries threaten to expose the myth behind the mask. So, So Mike Richardson was the creator of The Mask and also of Time Cop. What a great Van Damme movie that is. One-shot graphic novel there out this week. We have restocks in of God Country, one of I would argue this is Donny Cates' best work. He's done Venom, he's done Thor, he's done Absolute Carnage, King in Black, crossover, lots of good stuff, but God Country to me is easily his best book. 6-issue miniseries, self-contained, emotional, action-packed, and fantastical. Yeah, love God Country. Such a good book. Trade collection out this week for a thing called Truth. So this is a humor/adventure book. Lots of great testimonies on the back for how good it is. That's not one I've read myself, I must admit, but I think there's a couple of regulars that were picking this up in their singles and enjoyed that. So yeah, a 5-issue miniseries collected for trade. We have a couple of epic collections now. We have Captain America. This is volume 4 of the Cap stuff. This is called Hero or Hoax. So just look at those names: Lee, Ramita, Englehart, Buscema. This is classic era Cap. So this is 1971 to 1973 Captain America. Focuses on issues 139 to 159. Following that, we have Sturm und Drang. This is volume 11 of the Captain America stuff. And this is focusing on 286 to 301 annual and a couple of Falcon issues as well. So this is DeMatteis and Christopher Priest and those kind of guys. So some really good stuff there as well. So you have volume 11, 1983 to 1985. We have Batman versus Robin, Road to War. This is obviously a new background detail before the upcoming Mark Waid Mahmoud Asrar book. And it collects basically some older stuff. So you've got like Teen Titans Annual in here, a couple issues of Teen Titans, some Detective Comics issues. It basically sets up the conflict between father and son and how we got there. Have to show it because it's back in stock, because again it keeps selling out like crazy. Dark Knight Returns, the single, greatest graphic novel of all time. The end. And we finish off with one last one, which is something a little bit different. Lovely hardcover here. This is from Boom Archaea. This is an Eisner Award winning title from Asif Haneke, and it is called The Realist. So I'm curious about this one myself. So internationally acclaimed Israeli cartoonist Asif Haneke's weekly strips unfold an emotional autobiography full of humour and melancholy, wild imagination and quiet desperation. With echoes of Art Crumb and Daniel Close, Haneke moves readers with his depictions of everyday life, commenting on everything from marriage to technology to social activism through intimate moments of triumph and failure. Collected for the first time in English and including never before collected strips, The Realist delivers both honesty and whimsy from a master of his craft. The art preview in the back is great, the cover looks class. Again, Eisner Award winner. You can't really say more than that, so I think I'll have a wee read of that myself. So yeah, that is going to do it for us this week. So as ever, all this stuff is going on sale today. New Comic Book Day, the 10th of August 2022. Racks are already done and variants are out. Just have to stock those graphic novel shelves before opening. So as ever, anything appeals to you, just drop us a note. don't forget about the omnibus sale that's there, as I say, an in-store promotion. One last thing I should say as well, we will be sending off to CGC in 3 weeks again, so if you have any books out there you'd like to get graded, just drop those into us so we can do that. Other than that, that's me for this week, so hope you enjoyed it as ever. Feel free to spread the word if you did, and I hope you guys are keeping well out there. So I look forward to seeing you in stores soon. Take it easy.